Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another series review. And today's series review is none other than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, I just want to clarify for everyone before I get into this review that Avatar: The Last Airbender is not the one from the film which I absolutely despise. This is the comical, brilliant masterpiece of a cartoon series about a young boy who finds his destiny on the weight of the waves of the world. Avatar: The Last Airbender follows a young boy named Aang. Aang is locked inside of ice, and soon is awoken by Katara and her brother, Sokka. Now, Katara and Sokka find him in the ice, and it turns out that Aang was destined to be the next Avatar, but he has forgotten as well. Not really forgotten, but he is trying to hide it because he doesn't want the responsibility. It turns out that the night that the air temple fell, Aang was really angry about finding out that he would be the next Avatar, and so he fled with his giant bison, Appa. Him and Appa fell into a storm and found themselves in the midst of it all. He then wakes up to find Katara and Sokka, and they both decide that they will travel with him around the world to save the 5 nations from the Fire Army. On their journey, they meet many people, and most importantly, they find themselves in the face of danger every time that Zuko turns up. Zuko is the son of the Fire Lord, and of course, he has a vengeance against the Avatar to prove himself to the Fire Nation. However, eventually he decides to join Team Avatar. Also along the way, they find themselves becoming allies with a young girl named Toph. Toph is an absolute gem of a character. She's a young blind girl who is usually mistaken for being weak and vulnerable, but damn, she knows how to kick ass. Toph has the ability of earthbending, meaning she can chuck rocks and basically project projectiles at her enemies. Along the course of their journey, Team Avatar finds themselves up against many, many trials. People try to capture Appa. Aang finds himself constantly being taunted and put into a state of disarray. The group watch a play about their journey, and Toph is over the moon about the fact that she is cast as a man. Aang and Katara eventually fall in love at the end of the series, both connecting together, even though Aang keeps being very temperamental throughout the series. Sokka goes on to essentially train the next load of waterbenders. And Lord Zuko, along with the help of the Avatar, manages to sustain peace after the fall of the Fire Nation. The group decide to cause balance, but along the way, Zuko does have one problem. He finds himself face to face with his very own sister, a firebender who has immense power and is eventually called the Witch. His sister's name's Azula, and Azula is very powerful, so much powerful so that even Iroh, his uncle, fears her. Talking of Iroh, I think this is a very prominent moment to bring him up. Iroh was once a very honoured Fire Nation soldier. However, after an accident and a battle, he finds himself being in a situation in which he is nothing more than a servant to his nephew. Along the way, he teaches his nephew to be a more humble and respectful person. Also, in that account, he also finds himself in a situation in which he talks to Toph, not realizing at the time Toph is blind, but he definitely helps her to kind of come up with a way to deal with her problems with her fellow friends. He teaches all of them throughout this inner peace, and Aang respects him for this, not only because he can tell that Iroh is a very respectable man, but he also respects him on the basis that he can understand that he wants his nephew to be a better person, not just a tyrant who rules over a nation. So, Avatar, The Last Airbender. What did I think of this series as a whole? Watching it from start to finish, I absolutely love the comedy. I love that we start off with Aang being obsessed with penguins. I love that we get to see Toph absolutely kick a grown man's ass. I love how Zuko and Katara have a kind of moment. I love how Sokka finds himself in love with a Kyoshi warrior named Suki. And Suki really in this series puts Sokka in his place. I love how Iroh shows off his firebending moves and also teaches his nephew to be humble. I love the kind of juxtaposition between the Fire Lord and his son. The fact that his son started off as a madman trying to be like his father and then eventually decides to be his own person. Through and through, Avatar The Last Bender is an absolute joy to watch. It has comedy, it has fun, and most importantly, it has a kind of message of friendship and love and passion going through it. This series culminates all the best parts about the Avatar franchise, and for that reason, I give it a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next series review. Until then, goodbye. Stay beautiful, you beautiful people. Oh, also, quick heads up before I go. There is a live action version of this series if you're not someone who wants to watch the cartoon, which is on Netflix.